Some extremely violent weather has been passing through our viewing area in the past couple of hours. The Rhinelander Police Department is reporting serious flooding in the Rhinelander area. And here with an update on the situation now is meteorologist Gary Cannalte. Gary?
Thanks, Susan. There is a tornado watch for the entire TV12 viewing area until 2 o'clock in the morning. This is
the date, June 12, 1990. Severe weather strikes the Northwoods of Wisconsin. Limited to a simple graphic showing the weather watch, satellite pictures of the Midwest, a sequence of U.S. satellite pictures with a network-supplied jet stream graphic, and my forecast, I have to report on a serious severe weather situation and maintain my composure.
Over the last 10 or 15 years, television meteorology has made some dramatic improvements. For example, we now have access to colorized and Dopplerized weather radar systems and 3D satellite photographs. But what if you worked at a station where you didn't have access to those things? For example, I don't have access to a conventional radar picture, let alone a colorized or a Dopplerized one. Satellite photographs? I get those from my television network about an hour before our newscast time. They're put on a videotape, and then I have to take the videotape and edit the satellite pictures together in the order that I want them to be. And weather maps? Well, I don't have access to a NAFAX or a DIFAX machine. In fact, if I want a weather map, I have to drive 4 or 5 miles to the nearest airport to get a weather map. Now, armed with my trusty Michigan and Wisconsin zone forecasts, the National Weather Summary, my own forecast sheets, and my Heathkit weather station, as well as a couple of computerized products that I can get from a computer here at the station, that's how I make my forecasts. Challenging? You bet.
My challenge starts with the station itself. WJFW-TV is the NBC affiliate for the Rhinelander-Wausau television market for northern Wisconsin, market size 130. Our market covers a wide geographical area, from the Wisconsin-Michigan border on the north to the Wisconsin Dells 40 miles northwest of Madison on the south. Our studios are located in Rhinelander, a town with a population of about 8,000, located 55 miles northeast of Wausau in the northern section of our television market. The transmitter is located 10 miles further east at Starks, Wisconsin. Even though our transmitting antenna is one of the country's tallest, its location puts us at a big disadvantage to our competitors, both network affiliates located in Wausau. The following graphic drives home the point. Since we are not centrally located in the market, our signal doesn't penetrate the 5 southernmost counties and 3 of the 4 largest cities. Consequently, 45% of our market doesn't receive our signal and has to rely on network affiliates in Eau Claire and Madison for NBC programming. From a financial standpoint, our ratings and revenue resemble more like that of a station in a 200 market size instead of 130. With less money coming into the station, there's little to spend on the news department. In fact, our entire news staff consists of Chris Oatman, news director, Susan Simon, 10 p.m. news anchor, Richard Opp, news and sports reporter, Rod Ketter, sports director, and myself at the Rhinelander studios. In addition, Melissa Langben heads our Central Wisconsin Bureau in Wausau, with one full-time reporter, Sandra Peterson. They report live during our newscast via a Wausau Rhinelander microwave link-up and cover news from the Wausau area. Occasionally, they can cover a weather story, such as damage from last week's tornadoes in central Wisconsin. If a weather story breaks here, I usually have to cover it myself. When Hurley, Wisconsin received a 36-inch lake snow from Lake Superior, I took a 2-hour drive up there to see how they were coping. Most likely, I will shoot, write, and edit the story because we just don't have others to do the work. Occasionally, we will work in tandem, with one of the others doing the shooting and I doing the reporting. And it goes both ways, too. I will frequently shoot a basketball game for sports or a news story for Chris or Susan, whatever it takes to get the story on the air. But I am the only meteorologist we have. From the current conditions to the forecast, from the graphics, whatever we can make, to shooting the weather video, that's my department. At most stations, the meteorologist has to sort through his or her information and decide what's important and what's not. Is the LFM too weak on a system? Can I get a radar picture from a local warning radar? I don't have these problems. Here there's no LFM, no NGM, no radar, and no up-to-the-minute satellite pictures. 90% of what visuals I use on my weather segment come from WRC-TV via the NBC Skycom affiliate feed. Normally, I receive a 24-hour sequence of satellite pictures, the most recent of which has the jet stream superimposed over it, 4 regional pictures of the U.S., today's high temperature map, tonight's low temperature map, tomorrow's high temperature map, and tomorrow's weather map. That's all. No ups, no extras. Raw weather data is provided via UPI. I'm fortunate enough to have a separate printer that is coded only for weather, so I don't have to sort through news and sports stories. With the codes I have programmed, it's sort of like a cheap weather wire for Wisconsin. Our NBC Skycom computer terminal doubles as a terminal for the Wisconsin Weathermation system. A computerized weather machine for aviation interests, it at least can provide me some raw data, such as surface airways observations for the past 12 hours, severe weather watches, the severe weather outlook, state forecast discussions, and radar. The only problem with the radar is that I only get the coded info. I then have to put it on my radar chart, a sheet of plexiglass over a Wisconsin map with range circles around the radar sites. Unfortunately, this doesn't do me much good on the air since I can't show it, but instead has to be FYI and used for nowcasting. And last but not least, my NOAA weather radio. A surplus piece of equipment from my father's department at Motorola, it has been modified to be a sensitive weather receiver with a tone decoder for severe weather. My current conditions are compiled off the Heathkit weather station. To make sure I don't lose data, I had to put new connectors on all the wiring since whoever put the equipment together didn't follow good electrical techniques. And for area observations, there's the telephone. Area radio stations are a good source for temperatures, and our sportscaster Rod asked me as long as I'm on the phone with them. 63. Okay, got any scores so far? Okay, here's what I've got. I've got 2 in the valley. I've got Rhinelander at Merrill. Rhinelander 17, Merrill 14. So we can exchange high school football scores as well. After typing out my own forecast, it needs to be typed into our character generator. Yes, I have to do it myself. At least I don't have to worry about union regulations. Anyway, the limited graphics that I can make are done here. Remember that tornado watch graphic? Well, it has to be done on the CG as well. Here's how. I punch up small red blocks on a clear page over a Wisconsin map that I have on a videotape, and then move the blocks together. I then italicize the line to the slope of the watch box. This is the same function that italicizes printed letters. Anyway, I do the same thing for a few more rows, and then move the rows together until the watch box is set up. I then type in my title at the bottom, where I can then change the coloring of the letters and italicize them as I need to. I then give edging to the letters to make them stand out. Finally, I use our mixer board to fade the graphic over the map and record the whole thing on another videotape. It takes me about a half hour to do this, and I'm really limited by what I can do on the machine. But something is better than nothing. In addition, since I have to be the expert on the CG, I also help to develop graphics for news and sports, such as these sports scoreboards that I made for Rod. In the control room, about 1 hour before our 5 p.m. newscast, I can then pick up my videotape of the Skycom weather feed from 3/4-inch decks by the satellite receivers. Here's where the meat and potatoes part of my weathercast comes together, right here in the edit booth. From a videotape upon which I've recorded the NBC Skycom weather feed, I have to transfer that information onto another videotape, editing the weather maps and satellite pictures in the order that I'm going to use them on the show. In the control room operator can freeze those maps so I can talk about them over a longer period of time, but I need to relay that information to him in advance. I have no control over which order the maps appear in other than my actual editing process here. After editing my videotape and a quick trip to the makeup room, it's time to head to the control room once again. Our technical staff consists of one technical director who rolls tapes, switches video, audio, and commercial spots. My job during the newscast is to run the character generator, call up the proper news and sports graphics during the show, type in any last-minute changes, such as an updated score, and backtime the news to make sure I have enough time for myself as weather is at the end of the cast. And now comes the fun part, being on the air. We make things fun, so the hard work pays off in the end. And if things don't go just right, well, there's always the song and dance. Around the state of Wisconsin at 10 o'clock, temperatures are considerably wrong. This is the wrong graphic. We want to go to the Wisconsin map. We got the wrong temperatures for that. You got the right graphic, but the wrong temperatures. Or let's just go to the Midwest satellite picture, Scott. Poor guy, he's by himself in the control room tonight. Oh, let's go to the Midwest satellite picture if we can go to that. Can we go to the Midwest satellite picture? We got the temperatures, but not the Midwest satellite picture. We'll get to it, believe me. There we go.
Well, as you can see, not all TV stations are the same. With a small staff and a small budget, it makes my job that much more difficult. But then again, it makes it that much more enjoyable when I can beat the competition or help to improve our own news ratings. Remember, with a small staff, we all have to work together to make our product the best that it can be. And I have to remember, too, that my #1 priority is weather. Fun? Well, like I said before, we make our own fun. But as long as you don't mind working hard and you have pride in your work, those are the 2 things that'll make you go far in a small market station. And you'll be missed if you're off the air. For example, last year at the convention in Bal Harbour, Florida, it was the first time that I was off the air since I began working here at Channel 12 about a year earlier. Our news director had to do the weather. Now you can see what it's like when somebody else does the weather and you're not there. Take a look at this graphic.
The Northwoods forecast for tonight finds mostly cloudy, partly mostly cloudy skies early with scattered showers, possibly a thunderstorm early, headed for a low temperature in the upper 40s to lower 50s.
Oh well, at least I know I was missed. Hey, that about wraps it up for me. Enjoy the rest of the convention, and here's my tip to boost your ratings.
One of the perks of this job is you get to pose with the winning team. This is the winning team in the cheerleading division, the Park Falls Cardinals. In Park Falls, I'm Gary Cannalte, Newswatch 12. Geez, I hope I got good insurance for this. I know it's not in my contract.